Hello, everybody. What's up? So I just want to start by saying thank you so much for being here with us. To state, for being here for the Connecting Points edition in Copenhagen. We're going to explore a bit the concept or the thought of liberation, what it means for you personally, and what it can mean for the house culture, house dance, house music, underground culture in Copenhagen, and also maybe what it can mean beyond that as well. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to start with introducing myself. My name is Gloria. I'm a house dancer. You've been my teacher. You've also been my teacher.
You made me bold.
Yes. So I'm very happy to be here with you guys. It means a lot. And I'm also getting to know you better. So that's very nice. Thank you for being here. Yeah. So are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start with the basics. What's your name and pronoun if you use that, and yeah, maybe one word that inspired liberation for you. It's very simple.
That's so nice of you, Brice. So I'm Marie. The dance name is Gumdrop. I also still practice house, and one word that describes liberation for me would be personal time.
My name is Brice, dance name Professor Locke. Yeah, been dancing forever, but one word that would describe liberation for me is the groove.
Nice.
Hello, my name is Esther. I go by Any Girl whenever I DJ and curate. And I have been doing this for, 10 plus years. And for me, the word would probably be experimentation.
Nice. Lovely. Yes. Okay, I'm gonna get my paper then. Okay, so the first question is connected to what you just said, but maybe you can explore the word a bit more. What liberation means for you personally? Yeah.
Let's do it in reverse this time then.
Okay.
From the word that I use, experimentation was very intentional because I come from the underground club culture from the UK, and it has some parallels and connections with the US underground club culture, not necessarily house, but also house with rave, jungle, la la la. Anyway, the consistent thing with all these styles has been people being curious to play with sounds and play with ways of existing in spaces and experimenting. And
Yeah.
experimenting not only with gear, but with so many types of expressions. And that's why I continue to kind of fight for the scene that I'm in.
Nice. Thank you.
Yes, agree 100%. And then also I'll just add to it with liberation for me is, honestly for me it's like when your spirit gets to finally breathe and is not caught up in the performance and the masking. And I'm not just talking about on the dance floor, I'm just talking about in general, like in life, when you're not performing, you're not masking, you're not trying to be what society or even the ones who love you and are closest to you try to shape you to be. When you're able to find that truth and then walk it out and live it out and groove it out. So that's what it is for me.
Nice. Thank you.
I think for me personally, it was also me being aware as guest of these black cultures that liberation was something that I didn't understand, as we are very closed off, first off, as Danish people. So for me, moving to New York in my mid-20s, where I became guest in a lot of black cultural spaces, dances, and met a lot of people, it was also a lot of looking but not understanding in the beginning, because liberation from what in Denmark per se, because I come from a very privileged country, and it wasn't something that we practiced, and we don't have the cultural habitants of dancing in our culture or moving freely. We're a little bit more, without offending anybody, Danish people, we're a little bit more square. So liberation was also something that I had to learn by and through decolonization and through understanding my own privileges and the way I take up space. So now for me personally, it's also, like I say, it's very personal. And it's breathing, you know, so it doesn't only come through dance, it can also just come through listening to music or being with the right people. And it's this where you set yourself free of society's ways and norms. I think that's liberation.
Thank you. That was very nice. You took me on a wave. I was riding with you. I was like, yeah, that. I feel that. Okay, so a bit connected to like the last thing you just said, because you said that, okay, beyond like house dance and culture, it means this for you. But within the house dance and culture, how do you think we can decolonize or rewire our brain to actively practice spaces where we can tune into also inviting what you talked about, like being curious and exploring a bit this sense of liberation, you know, like what can it mean dancing-wise, right? Like, do we need to perform when I'm there? Do I need to do things perfect? Like, you talked about New York, and I'm very curious about also, like, you're from Philly, right? Yeah. Yeah, come on. You know, like, well, if we go a bit back to maybe how it looked like in the beginning more than today, is there something, does liberation, do we miss this in today's culture? If you understand my question, yeah. Do it.
Okay.
Sorry, was this for you?
Yep. It was for all of us. You want to go ahead?
I just want to respond with, is it present in today's culture? And I think a lot of the performativity is because I recognize a lot of people are performing for social media. I mean, that's one medium, but it's probably the most obvious and easiest we can start the conversation from. And liberation, it's already been discussed. Once you have the foundation of not having to think about your economy, for example, not having to think about masking around certain people, not having to think about all of these ways you exist in society and life, then comes the extra freedom to express and be curious. So that's the first thing that came to my mind, just from my personal experience being in Copenhagen, but recognizing when I started going out in club culture and there wasn't any phones, the freedom we had to dance, do you know what I'm saying? We were dancing on the dance floor, and it doesn't seem to be the same, but that could be my ignorance because I don't really go to the young clubs.
I agree, and 100%. That's actually a really good point. To add to that, I think it has become a little bit more on the performance side of things, but I also think this generation, to shoot a little bail, might be at a little bit of a disadvantage because, when, as you say, when we were coming up in it, there wasn't even a thought really about a job or making money. Like like even if I think back to my crew, you know, we just wanted to be good.
Nice.
We just wanted to do better than we did yesterday, and like we just woke up to dance, you know, and put the music on, like listen to music. Oh, you hear the guitar player, like we don't. It was a part of our lifestyle. It was a part of how we identified each other and ourselves, and it wasn't. There was nothing external except our bond as brothers. You know, when I'm talking about my crew, but it was nothing. There was no external validation, I should say. It was us, like internally. We all had our individual approach and our individual take and our individual style. So everybody, like the more unique you were, the better.
Nice.
You know, it was like the more you can just dig deep That's how we used to say, like, dig deep. Used to hear people on the dance floor in the ciphers be like, yo, dig deep, dig deep. And like, when you heard that while you're dancing, it almost like did something to your spirit where you just wanted to go deeper. Next thing you know, you wake up and everybody's just like, hey, you don't even know what you just did. Like, it wasn't so calculated. So, yeah. And I think now there's been so many opportunities, which is good, to make money, make it a profession. So many more battles and stuff now, and all these in competition and events, and it's amazing. But where we lost the balance at is that we don't have a club culture for dancers anymore. That's one of the things that, you know, I miss. And like I said, like to kind of piggyback off of Esther, maybe it's because I don't go out. I don't really go out to the clubs like that no more. Yeah. But, you know, there was a time when, like, dancers was a part of the club life, and, like, the DJ spun for the dancers. The club owners made room and space for the dancers. That is where it happened first. Now it happens online first, or in the studio first, and things like that. But it was the cypher where it used to happen first, and that cypher can teach you a lot, you know. And I miss that for this generation, you know, because the ciphers now are just like training sessions,
right? Yeah,
you know, working out on, like, it's, yeah. That's, I'm gonna just cut it there.
Thank you. Nice.
I think, sure, we also have to look a little bit on the bright side, because I do see a lot of the younger generations trying to create these spaces that they're missing without knowing what they're missing.
Yeah.
Because the young generation, I've been working with them a lot. A lot of these young girls grow up and have a lot of anxiety, and that's the whole commodification of these cultures, this whole you have to be this, you have to be that, and everything has to be so perfect. Today people have Instagram accounts with no pictures, only stories, because they can't post anything online unless it's perfect. And you keep chasing this way of being perfect, and to put that on your body with and through dance breaks you more than it gives you this liberation. So yeah, they have been broken, and yes, it's missing, but I also do see a lot of people seeking healthier ways, because dance isn't only to live off or to win a battle or to, it should feel good. You should be doing it because it makes you feel something. It gives you this feeling of, okay, I had a shitty day, but now today feels a little bit better. You don't necessarily need a club for that, or a club filled with dancers. There's very few places in the world that has that, but there's a lot of places that have clubs where people are dancing without this label of being a dancer. Yeah. Just good music and space where you can be you. You know what I mean? That you don't have to navigate in people's drunkenness or bad behavior. So I think there is, we are missing that, but I also see a lot of greatness in the younger generations trying to create spaces where safety is in the front seat.
Nice. Okay. So
what you just said there.
please add, like, I would love to hear that.
I was just thinking about that last thing she was saying about you know, just dancing to just that, with just feeling good. Like, that was one of the, when I was introduced to house dance, you know, that was the first time I really experienced that. So I was just agreeing with her, because the house dance really introduced me to that, and I was just that the liberation that we're talking about, house dance and house culture is what actually introduced me, or where I felt it first. So even though I was doing hip hop first, but
nice. So I'm gonna continue on that. How can we, as people that's organizing, as teachers, and people that I personally look up to, and DJs, or, you know, people that's hosting, how can we encourage this, or how can we start to cultivate this maybe a bit more, like practicing not needing to constantly look perfect, right, for the gram, or need to have a perfect taste, you know, this stuff, or like DJ a certain way? Like, how can we practice being individual and allowing to be raw, or like, you know, just being in a space?
I think what I learned was through some of the biggest people as dancers were also some of the biggest personalities with the biggest heart. So it actually just comes from saying hi to people that you meet. Like, make sure that you make people feel welcome. It's not so much that more than that.
Okay.
With Ray, who was one of the biggest party organizers in New York, may he rest in peace, also part of the Mop Top family and amazing dancers. He used to take care of so many people, making them feel welcomed in the clubs, just by acknowledging people, knowing their names. Hey, good to see you, nice that you're out. You know, like talking with each other so you're not so stranger to the people that you're around. We keep using this word community.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, community, but community is what is between us.
Yeah.
Do you talk with people?
Yeah.
Because, well, dance is freedom. Do you know the people's names? Do you know what's going on? Or
So good.
be nice. You know, Marjorie Smart, may she rest in peace, she used to invite people home for Thanksgiving. You know, strangers. We were young people, people from her class made sure that we went out to eat afterwards.
Yeah.
I think it comes with kindness and then the humanity between us, more than put your phones away. We're trying to create all this, just talk, be people.
Nice. Thank you. That was very nice.
Exactly, exactly. It doesn't necessarily have to be centralized to a club, dance floor, or a certain point. It is the practice you do. It is this behavioral code of conduct that you agree upon, your values. An example for me is when I moved here almost 8 years ago. I was desperately looking for a night that played, listen to this, dancehall, UK funky,
Come on.
jungle,
Yeah.
all in one dance floor. And I came in, I was like, where is it?
Yeah.
So I did it myself, but then reaching out to some of the veterans that came before me that were championing these sounds, but siloed in their own communities, it was really welcoming, but I found that it only existed when they did something. And outside of that, it's like, where's my community? What's going on? So I try to continue to do things outside of the big event. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, just to sum all that up, because I agree all the way around. I think the word for all of that is that we just make sure people understand that it's relational first. It's relational first. You won't see me rarely see me walk past somebody here in Denmark without saying hi to them and looking them in the eye. And they might ignore me, you know, but because that's what I've learned. That was passed on to me. It's like, it's relational first. Like, the moves and stuff is great, but it's relational, and it always has been, and it should always be.
Nice. Yeah. Lovely. Okay. So, but like, if I can just like go, but like, how can we do this here? You know, how can we practice this in the community that we?
Which community?
House dance. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, in like, yes, house dance community in Copenhagen. How can we practice what you guys just talked about? You know.
Start by saying hi to strangers. But like, no, seriously. It's really about caring. Like, Gumdrop, it was touched on this, but it's like, when we went, not to necessarily make it about the club, but this is where we would see Marjorie and most of the time, but it's like, we genuinely cared about the people that we interacted with and saw. Even if it was somebody, some people I never knew their last name. But we saw each other every week, and it was like your best friend. That was important. I remember in Philly at the Sunday party, there was a guy, I don't even know his name actually, because he was always dancing the whole time, but we would always see each other and be like, and you felt like you know him. And this guy, all he did was a two-step the whole night.
Nice.
But it was so powerful because he was so embodied in it, and then and also was present.
Yeah.
You know, and he would like, and it's something about that, taking a step back from the performance. This word probably will come up a lot, but taking a step back from that and genuinely looking at somebody in the eye and finding that care for them. They're in the same space you are. It's like, you know, where you, that right there, you know, just the fact that where we are right now here, that right there, there's care. Like, so I want to extend care, and I think that's the first thing that, for me anyway, personally, that's what I understand, and that's what I take with it and try to remember. So.
Nice.
Absolutely. Also, realizing that there's so much knowledge and resources and learning we can take from each other. I think often people expect someone with authority or someone with experience to do the thing they want to do, when amongst us we can do it together. I've seen this so many times where I know I've been yearning for something. I've spoken to a friend casually, and it's happened because we both looked at each other and was like, should we just do the thing? And, you know, and the momentum, and I think you need that. Be open and express what it is you want to see and allow it to come to fruition.
Nice.
I think there has to be some authenticity. I keep using extremely hard word in English, so excuse my English sometimes, but there has to be some authenticity because we keep trying to copy something that we might not be. You have to understand we are a small Danish community. That's okay. We're in Copenhagen. That's great. Nice. We don't have to be New York. We don't have to be Philly. We don't even have to be Malmö. I think it's great that we find out who we are. Get to know who we are, and then also know that community, what's between us, is for all of us. It's like you come to a buffet, you bring something. You don't just come and eat. Make sure that that table is full. Make sure that it's not always the same people who takes the dishes, who stays and cleans up. That responsibility is ours. If we keep feeding with love and positivity and responsibility, then that's also what's going to grow. If we keep complaining, if we don't show up for practice, if we have bad energy, and I'm not talking about we have to be toxic positive, that's not what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about sometimes just check your body at the door, you know? Leave it outside when you come to a practice. Practice, say hi to people, take that round. If there's somebody you don't know the name of, ask them, hey, what's your name? Great, have we met before? No. Whoops, 20 times, my bad, I'm bad with names. But make sure that you also check yourself, be authentic, and search for that. Instead of trying to be something that we're not. We're good. We're we. There's only us. So I think that's important.
Okay. Huh, bang. This is so freaking nice. Okay. I think this will be like the last question.
But can you please be honest and tell people how many questions you prepared? Be honest.
We prepared like
37.
Yeah, around 30 seconds. We're good. Okay. Well, ask all the questions. Okay. How do we, I like this question. So how do we honor the legacy of Black, Latin, queer, trans communities in the spaces that we create today? I think that's very interesting, and this topic has been coming up a lot lately. I feel like, you know, people ask a lot of these questions, and I also personally missed it a little bit, like seeing all of this beautiful flowers or cocktail, whatever you want to call it, represented in a space.
Yeah, I should not be talking first, so I'm passing the mic.
Okay, so how can we honor the legacy of Black, Latin, queer, and trans communities in the spaces that we create today?
That's a heavy question.
Yeah.
I need a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna think on that. You go ahead.
Yeah, come on.
I'm fast like this. No, I think, first off, as a guest in this culture, I think it's a lot to do with not erasing. Like for me, it's also understand the privileges that I have and the seat at the table that I have. And I just said I have a seat at the table. So me being white doesn't mean that there is not space for me. Upholding and uplifting Black voices doesn't mean that white voices can't be there. It has never been like that. I think what we have to realize is that by uplifting Black voices, we don't erase white people. We have taken up so much space forever. So again, I think by being authentic, by teaching culture, teaching house, inviting people in that knows more of us, setting containers for these spaces, not by saying everybody is welcome and everything is welcome, but saying everybody is welcome, but not everything. We also set a container where we hold each other responsible. So it's about creating spaces where sometimes you have to be able to sit with some discomfort. Sometimes you have to be able to be wrong and be okay with that. And we don't have a call-out culture per se in Denmark. It's not in our culture. So people are very afraid of doing something wrong. So I think us here in Copenhagen, Denmark, and especially the younger generations, you are smart people. You have to understand that you come with a lot of knowledge already. You have some powerful voices. So I maybe want to say to the younger generations that has already so much power behind it, that you are on the right path. And I do think that a lot of us older generations can also learn from you, especially us older white people sometimes. Yeah, I said it. I am older and I'm white.
You're not that old though, but okay.
And single.
Woo!
Anybody? Just so y'all know.
Cutie.
You nailed that, so
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
was
leave
great.
that. You nailed that. I'm just gonna add to it with one of the things I like when I'm teaching. One of the things I explain is that, listen, like the things, for example, hip hop and house culture, the things that had to transpire in society and things like that in order for that to happen, that's not happening here in Denmark, for example. So you can't, going back to what she said with authenticity, is like you can't go trying to, I don't even know how to, trying to mimic this struggle that you have no idea and can and will never identify with. But you can learn all you can about it and use that information as a reference point to then say, okay, well, what is my struggle here?
Yeah, word.
You know, where am I oppressed and how am I oppressed here, or how am I struggling here, that I can use that to express myself? Because that's one of the most beautiful things of hip hop and house culture and all that for me, is just the fact that it was found out of, you know, people who were like kids and young folks who was being oppressed or felt or pushed down or kept away from.
Yeah.
And then you create this beautiful art form, you know, and you could do the same thing, but just don't try to take on something that you don't have. Just find what it is here, you know. You can appreciate whatever struggle that you have here and use that to channel your art, to channel your liberation. Okay? Else what you have is borrowed liberation.
So good.
So, yeah, figure out and own whatever it is you got here. All right? Denmark is a beautiful place at the same time. But the problem I see is that you want to keep your emotions tidy and your truth suppressed. And you got to kind of, as the culture as a whole now, like Marie Gumdrop said, it's not everybody. But as a culture, I've noticed the emotions are tidy, and what I'm really feeling gets pushed down here. And you can't sustain that. That falls apart. And that's where liberation starts to die, or at least gets muted.
Nice.
Both of you just prophets. I'm just going to wrap up by saying yes. And the one thing I miss about community and evolving these identities and people is recognizing that there are going to be mistakes, and it's okay to talk about it. I miss us recognizing together we're going to get things wrong. We are.
That's nice.
And we have to be able to talk, otherwise I can't see the growth. I see it time and time again. And I guess it's cancel culture, it's performative politics, but I'm excited to be part of a crew, a club scene, a community, and recognize that I might fuck up and my friends are going to call me out and vice versa.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Okay, adding on to cancel culture. Cool. What do you think about that in terms of, because we talked about earlier that today now there is more chances to get jobs with this thing like house dance and music, and you can travel the world, be a house DJ, and do great jobs as a house dancer. When we think about the culture of like, since the possibilities are here now, and we're talking about community, how do we balance that? How do we balance the fact that there is jobs, you can kind of make it, but also not lose the sense of where this comes from, Not turning it into this commercial thing, but not denying the fact that it is here today.
Just in short, I would just say, just try your best. Like as I said, we're going to mess up, but try your best to maintain your integrity. Learn to get the knowledge that you need, get the knowledge that's available, and then kind of like move in accordance, kind of see everything, the choices that you make through the lens of the knowledge that you have, or that you should have. And I'll give an example. When I first moved here and started integrating after I got married and everything, it was rough because I was so against how everybody was, how I saw everybody in Denmark, that I was like, oh, I'm gonna just do my own thing, man. Forget that. I don't care. Like they don't get it. So I didn't take the time to actually learn about the Danish culture and understand where it is that they come from. I was just sitting there doing my thing and I was constantly, for me, at least, that just made things harder. When I finally, and I had to get knocked down on my butt in order for it to happen, but when I finally stopped and was like, all right, you know what, let me actually take the time to understand where it is the Danish people are coming from. So I actually looked into all the different things I could find, Jantelon and just the history and everything to understand. And then I took that information and then I used it to shape how I move here. And I still maintain my integrity in who I am, but it helped me navigate because I understood. So I saw everything, every choice I made in conversations through the lens of I'm speaking with a Danish person in the Danish school system or in the Danish arts world. But I understand who I'm talking to and where I'm at. And I still have to respect that. I don't have to lose myself to do it, but I still have to respect I'm here, and I chose to be here, so I'm going to learn everything I can about it, even the language, finally, and move accordingly, and figure out how Brice navigates that. Because one thing I did learn is that I could never make myself Danish. That also burned me out, trying to assimilate, and I gotta be. That didn't work either. So I learned the culture, knew who I was, and found a way to navigate who I was within the culture. But I had to learn about the culture first in order to navigate it properly. And so that's my take on that question.
So it was about turning your artistic expression and commodifying it into making money.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Or like the balance of it, right? Like today we have the possibility to make money out of it. You can work with it, but how do we keep this balance of not losing its roots, or like the space that we talked about, right? This liberation and just being authentic, and the more like commercial or like making money out of it, and also how do we practice also this thing of sharing, these spaces as well?
Oh,
that's like three questions at the same time.
I think a lot of us in this room can relate to this question, but
yeah.
Firstly, bouncing off integrity, being honest and maybe saying out loud the space you occupy in and your mission and your goals. So for me, I knew there was a certain point I wanted to make money playing jungle.
Nice.
That meant sometimes I had to compromise.
Yeah.
I had to play at concerts, venues that didn't always align, but it paid the bills.
Yeah.
And then when I did my own events, I had almost a gatekeeping hats where I set a standard, a code of conduct about the type of music I invited the DJs to play. If they don't want to, you can come, but perhaps you're not the DJ that I want to welcome into this space. So yeah, there was an expectation that I set for myself, and also for the space I engage in and the space that I want to create.
Nice.
I think Jade Soul was one of the people who taught me this reversed interview thing, especially as a white person trying to make of money, of black culture. You also want to really realize where you take up space and how you take up space, and ask yourself personally, don't judge, no cancel culture, should I take up space right now? This is very personal, this is very individual, I don't judge anybody. I'm still on this journey myself. But this reversed interviewing means that sometimes when you're asked for a job, don't just say yes straight away. You have to understand some of these things that we are fighting as a community, as world, are systemic. So to break these systems, sometimes you have to say no to a job. If you're asked to do a judge solo, if you're asked to judge a competition, ask who's my fellow judges. Are you again the token person? Could somebody else be better than that? Should you be taking up that space right now? If you're asked to teach a class, ask if that school has anti-racist strategy, or ask if they pay a fair amount for everybody. You know, there can be so many different questions, but just instead of saying straight up yes from the beginning because you're glad that you get the opportunity, also know that you can start moving those tiny mountains sometimes just by asking questions in reverse instead of yes.
Very nice.
And that also helps your community.
Yeah.
So sometimes just don't be alone with it. Like call up your friend, call up somebody that, hey, I've been asked this, can I ping pong with you? So you're not alone, because I have to speak from where I am as a white woman within black house culture. I think a lot of it has to do with, it's not that I can't dance or I shouldn't be taking jobs or et cetera, but let's take newer cultures like Light Feet or Passinho Foda in Brazil, or some of these new black dances that are coming up, and everybody is all of a sudden doing Bacardi. Thank you, Tyler, I still can't move like that. And this is a new subculture coming from South Africa. And I see everybody and their mother, their white mother, that's all I'm talking about, teaching it very, very fast. So are we not learning anything? Because it's not like Stretch, the whole Mop Top family, Dance Fusion Elite Force have never spoken up about should you really be teaching. It's not that we don't have old elders like Crybaby Cozy from the Light Feet community straight up saying, please stop doing lock-ins on random moments or appropriating the culture. But I see a lot of, especially my generations, that we keep asking, oh, but I didn't hear it, or it wasn't said before, or there's nothing new here. This is old news. But are we recycling these systems, these oppressions, or are we fighting them just by asking questions?
Very nice. They're answering. I'm here like, what? Thank you so much, really. Okay, what do I want to ask now? Okay, so maybe we tapped into it, but to like the more positive. We talked about how we can practice it, like saying hi to each other, acknowledging each other, seeing each other. But if I can talk more in the Nordic sense now, because we are doing connecting points, just to like go to that aspect. How can we work in between Scandinavia to stay together? I remember when I was studying, when I went to Florence Academy here, I know there was Tap Water Jam happening, there was other events happening where I know like Norway and Denmark, at least Norway and Denmark, I'm not sure if Sweden was a part of it, used to work together. And that was very nice to feel and experience. And I think that's also why, personally, I'm very connected to Denmark today, and Norway, Sweden. I'm still getting like to know the community more, but that meant a lot for me to know that there was these interconnections. While today maybe I don't feel as much, they probably are, but I don't feel as much that we've maintained these connections. So how we can practice that, or yeah. Do we get the question?
Yeah, it's a bit of yeah.
This is where all your Scandinavian aura comes in.
Yeah, because I'm not at all. So
I love that.
No, I think in all general, like I said earlier, if it's the same people doing the dishes each time, cleaning out the tables, we get tired.
Yeah.
So I think like what you said about believing in yourself, that you can do it, also means that the younger generations can also create these bonds that are needed.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you need to cut out the older sections or the younger generations. If you think about it, there is something where we go a little bit wrong in our dance community, because you play ping pong or tennis or badminton your whole life.
Yeah.
You come, you meet your friends, you do the thing with the ball, have a great time, have a coffee, and then go home. But we don't keep dancing. So there's something within our community that drains us. And I've thought about it, because what should be giving us energy, coming out, supporting each other, connecting each other, why is it not giving energy? Why are the connections that we made, big up to Marie Kay, who created this program, Nordic Unity, where the countries were very much elaborating, creating Sjösterbo together, trying to, and mind you, I have filled up thousands of minibuses going to Kalmar and et cetera, to try to fulfill this. But there's something that drains us within us, and I don't know what it is. I just know that it's not like badminton. I don't see my fellow colleagues coming out no more. I know kids happen, life happens, life is lifing, but there is something different within the community and us that makes us, do I have the energy for that? Instead of, oh my God, I'm gonna go, this is gonna give me energy. So maybe I have a question for us more than how do I answer your question? Because all I can say is, if you keep doing the dishes, you are gonna get tired.
I'm so glad you said that, because a good friend of mine recently spoke about this energy exhaustion, being in these spaces that we used to go to escape and find ourselves. And now being in these spaces and thinking, I can't do this. I want to go home. Given, I'm getting older, yeah. But I think part of it is people aren't in these spaces to give and to just be there for the joy of it. People are recognizing that the relations you make could result in a job. So you have to constantly be on top form. You have to constantly be maintaining these good relations and because I need to pay my bills. And I think it's the economy's fucked and people need to survive, and at some point vocation, economy, work life, it's all it's just a blur. Do you know what I mean? This weird freelance economy, and we haven't distinguished between this is my practice and this life source, my creative expression. So I also recognize this as well.
Very nice.
I think also you have to ask yourself honestly, why are you doing it in the first place? Why do you dance? Like, why are you dancing? If we just narrow it down to dance, why? And I think that's a really honest question that a lot of us probably don't ask ourselves. I know for me, I knew why I danced before I came to Denmark. It was church. When I got here, I got tired. It stopped being church. There was a period when I first started coming to Denmark and visiting where it was a little bit of the church vibes, and I liked that. I was like, wow, they got that here. And then it just, by the time I came back, it was, I don't know what happened to it. And so I can't answer that question because I'm for me, I had to go back to what dance became. With the other part I had to lean into the other part of what dance is for me, which is my way of speaking and expressing myself where words either aren't enough or I don't have the words. So I just went back to it being a personal expression, a personal vessel for me. That's how I kept it up for me personally. But going out can be draining because it's not church. I would still go out, even with my kids. I'd probably bring them with me.
Nice, yeah.
But it's not church anymore. And that's just the way. That's the word I have to describe it. What I'm missing. But as far as how, I don't know, because I wasn't born here. I don't understand enough to even know. You know, the one thing I do see with dance is that it's primarily looked at as a sport competition thing. And I think that plays a part in the burnout because you can't equate dance as the same kind of sport as badminton and handball. It's a different thing. And it's, in my opinion, it's not even a sport. But that's the only thing that I see, you know, is the lens that the dance is looked at here. But other than that, I can't really answer that question.
Okay. So,
I think I can add also just show up. You know, you keep talking about how do we get it.
yeah.
Show up when people are hosting jams, creating events, putting up performances, throwing a ball in the Nordic countries. Show up.
Nice.
I think that's how you support and that's how you keep it growing. You go and make a friend.
Nice.
Come to my couch, sleep at my couch. We have an event next week. If you only stay, and even in our own communities in Copenhagen, it's also sometimes about getting out of your comfort zone and go to events where you normally wouldn't feel so comfortable. Go make friends. Because it's all about everybody walking around with these insecurities that sometimes holding us back, especially here in Denmark when it's sit in the chest.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility of showing up. Show up.
Nice.
The most important part to what Gumdrop said was make friends. Yeah, because you can show up, but if you show up and you like closed off and like just practicing your moves and then wait, like make friends.
Yeah.
Like again, going back to relational, like that's what I mean when I say it wasn't church. Like we would get excited when we said, yo, what's up, man? You here? Yo, let's dance. Sorry about that. But like, and then we'd hit the dance floor, but it was just like, I don't know, it was just, sorry, I was a bit aggressive, but it was, but when you show up, also consider how you're showing up when you show up.
Super nice. Okay, I was thinking of you guys in the audience, actually. Do you have any questions compared to the things we've been talking about? You're very free to ask if you have anything.
All of three of you. I'm just curious of what you're bringing in there from your also freelance experience, maybe.
I will, Rosa. Rosa mentioned that how do you bring this into the institution? Like the...
all of you have like an institution kind of linked to what you're working with, daily life, making money.
Great. Okay, yes. So you have the practices that you do as dancer, DJs, lover of this culture. You also have it linked to perfect, thank you, institutions. How do you manage this? It's a good question.
One of my values is to be curious, and when I first moved to Denmark, I went to every dance hall, dub, bass event that I could see on the internet that people told me about. And I spoke to everybody. And in hindsight, all those relationships have gotten me where I am now.
Nice.
100%. Because I was the person there, like, just being a nerd. Do you know what I mean? Like, I cared. I cared so much. And I'm often, when I'm in this place where I'm very down, I have to think back to that, the energy I had. And that's when it felt like church, you know. So for me, I think I said it before, I do have a little bit of a gatekeeper hat on, but I think it's important for me to preserve some of these values that I really want in my space. And I try to do it in a way that isn't so exclusionary, but to communicate that this is the environment and the sound that you're going to step into. Please respect it, and you're welcome. If not, you're also welcome to leave. And I'm very happy to tell people to leave, you know.
That's a question if I'm honest, for a good chunk of my dance career, never really considered. I was just moving, working, trying to be the best I could be. But now, as I've pivoted, I've had to do a lot of and I'm still doing it to this day, but just personal work with myself when it comes to insecurities, when it comes to fears and beliefs and lies that, were put on me at an early age that I struggled to let go of. But when I was able to do that and work with those things, my dance got better. And I feel like I feel better, and I feel even more good in my dance now than I did when I was getting busy with my crew coming up. So now what I do is I work with that. I stay in my lane. I work with what I know I can work with. And so what I do with dance is I use dance now to help people free themselves from the assumptions and the lies and the negative beliefs about themselves that they can't seem to shake. I help them find that groove and help them see that by finding the groove, they can change the narrative and build the person that they know they are, or the person that they dream of being at night when they go to bed but feel like they can't quite reach it, because I was there and I know what that's like. So that's what I work with. I take what I've learned and what I know and use that in my dance. So I've become a full-time both coach and teacher of dance, to dance itself, but then a coach when it comes to just the mindset and how dance can really help shift your nervous system. So that's what I do. I just stay, what do I know? And where can I be of use, and where can I be of service to the community that I'm in? And when I say the community, I just mean Denmark in general. And I know a lot of what the culture suffers from internally, I also suffered from internally and still do sometimes, so I know how to work with it. So that's what I do. I try to be of service.
Nice. Very nice.
I think I understood the question a little different, because you're asking, Rosa, how we navigate working as dancers within institutions.
Yeah, you're also, I see you as doing there's also something another live, and you're doing a dance school, and you're also at Cuba. You're navigating this institutional space where you're bringing in artistry, and also an artist yourself. How are you? That was also.
Yeah. Okay, so the whole navigation process has clearly shifted for me these past few years, but I think I've always had this, it's not for me to compromise, because it's not mine, so I can hold space for learning, and I can hold space for accountability, and I often ask some tough questions sometimes and get myself in trouble. But with these institutions, I have learned that they very much want dance. They very much want the idea of dance, dancers, culture, everything exciting, but don't sell it too cheap, Use your ways to get more people into these institutions. Use your network to help further than your friend circles. Try to open the doors, try to ask the difficult questions, but also, it's not for me to compromise these things, it's for me to stand my ground. And I think one hard lesson that I learned about 3 years ago when I gave the dance schools, all the Danish dance schools, the ultimatum of saying, I can't teach unless your schools get an anti-racist strategy. Ask me who has invited me to teach. So there has been done a lot of work behind the scenes with a lot of people in the dance communities trying to navigate so our institutions like dance schools can help us, so we get help in what if we do things wrong, you know? Because it's not because we need perfect institutions, but if we as people need to get on board 2025, the institutions needs to as well. So sometimes I do feel that the institutions need us more than we need them, and I just need you to remember you're the value, not the institutions. That's bricks, okay? Institutions, bricks, you, value.
Halala.
Value.
Okay.
Real quick to add on that, when you go in those institutions, know the language of the institutions too. All right, know how to speak their language, know how to tell them, know how to give them what they think they want, so that you can actually give them what they need. That's how I've been able to get into these places, because I know I learn their language, and then I give them what I just told you I do. But I give them the truth once I'm in there. But you know, sometimes you can't just go in there all the time kicking the door down. You also got to know your audience. So learn to speak their language and know when to pull it out when you need it. But always, as Gumdrop says, stand your ground.
I still have to learn that part of not kicking the door in, I have to admit, because Brice is right, but it's my personality, I'm working on it.
No, stay you. We love you the way you are. Okay.
But we need that.
We need
that.
that. We do. We need that. We really do.
When you got a crew, everybody has their roles. You got the person that kicks the door down, and you got the person that like what she's saying.
Is actually.
That's Marie K. That's the other Marie. That's Marie K. Sometimes she looks at me like, Marie. Okay. That's the other Marie. That's not this one.
That actually reminds me of a saying that I learned when I was in Senegal called Ubuntu, meaning like being yourself in a collective. So meaning that you meet up exactly as who you are, and because you do that, we can be a collective. If I meet up and I'm trying to be like you, we're not a collective. I'm just mirroring you. But if we come together, we actually fulfill each other. So we need people that kick the door, and some people that can be like, yeah, but what she meant was, you know, like.
Yeah,
so,
I think that's true. It's just sometimes you want to be able to be all.
Yeah.
I guess that's human as well.
Yeah.
You know, when there's things that you're lacking within yourself, within your dance, within your community, you want to be able to do the dishes, look cute, be polite, be the best, and it's exhausting. I'm just me, a little bit over the edge.
Yo, thank you so much. This has been so nurturing. I've been like, again, riding the wave. I'm reflecting a lot, and I'm taking this with me. So, yeah, thanks. Can we do just a random fun fact about yourself? Very random. Yeah. I have one, actually. Okay.
I was born with 12 fingers, and yeah, this is very random. I was born with 12 fingers. They were cut off when I was a baby, and I met my dad in Uganda this summer, and I found out I got this trait from him.
Oh, shit. That's random.
Did you see how he passed my continue? I'm going to put the bar low right now. Listen, my dog is named after an Instagram meme, Senor Bufas.
That's amazing.
That's very, very good.
Listen.
Yeah.
My firstborn, I had his name ready when I was in the 7th grade.
Oh.
Gabriel.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
This is why I did not end. Good.
Okay, we have some flowers for you as a thank you, and yeah.
Non-funded. I wanted to give you something. This is what you
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here and sharing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's Rosa. We're organizing this together. You also, Rosa! Woo! Yeah, and thank you, Radio Panini. Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate it. Yeah. Nice. Mm-mm. Yeah, let's get to some music and dancing and vibing. Yee.